Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. You know, we've got quite a few challenges going on in our world these days. There's a lot of things that really bring uncertainty and change that we've never known before. And it's a natural reaction when we're going through those situations that it brings up fear inside of us. And, you know, fear is something that we each live with each and every day. And if we allow it to, it can really control us. You know, I just think back in my own life when back in the mid-90s, I was getting ready to leave my corporate job and embark upon a career as an entrepreneur, as a martial arts school owner. And the fear that I went through really just transformed into panic attacks. And it was something that just caused me to absolutely freeze and not be able to deal with the situation at hand. You know, we've all heard about fight or flight, right? We've all heard about that situation. But what most of us do is when we move into fear, is we freeze. We just don't take action at all. So fear can be a real detriment to helping us move through our lives. But what's interesting about fear is, and I've been teaching an adrenal self-defense class that helps people transform their fear into power for over 25 years. And what I've realized is when we're able to make friends with our fear, so to speak, we're able to understand it more, it actually becomes a powerful asset for us. In fact, we like to say that our students in that self-defense class, they move from fear to fierce because it allows us to access a powerful aspect of ourselves that we didn't even know existed. So what I want to share with you today with that in mind is 4 strategies for how we can personally deal with fear when it's in our lives and actually befriend it in such a way that it helps us move through to the next level of what we want to attain. So here are my 4 strategies for dealing with fear. Number 1 is to actually feel the fear, surrender to it, and let it pass through. Now, I know that word surrender might seem a little bit odd in this context, right? And sometimes we don't want to feel the fear because it's uncomfortable to us. But what I know from my own experience is when I'm in that fearful place, if I try to suppress it downward, if I try to ignore it, it just is going to keep continuously trying to make its way through. But when we feel it, we surrender to it, and we let it pass through, the fear begins to lose its power. Now, when I say the word surrender, I want to be really clear about something. It doesn't mean we're giving in. It just means that we're giving up our resistance to it. And I love the quote from one of my favorite authors, Byron Katie, who says that when we fight with reality, we always lose, but only 100% of the time. So think about that. When you're feeling that fear, when you're feeling that anxiety, next time it goes in there, actually allow it to pass through you, because now what happens is its power over you begins to dissipate, and now you can clear your head and start making some proper decisions, because generally speaking, we don't make the best decisions when we're in a state of fear. Number 2 is this. We've all heard about if you ever caught on fire, you'd stop, drop, and roll. Well, my own adage to this with fear is to stop, drop, and breathe. Number 1, stop. Assess the situation. Get out of your story about it and just look at the facts so you can assess what's going on and take the proper steps necessary. Drop into your heart. Get out of your head and start feeling it in your heart, because that's where the answers are for your next step. And then obviously breathe. Take a deep breath through your nose, let it out through your mouth, so you begin to regulate your breathing and regulate your brain so that you're able to make good decisions and integrate your head and your heart when you're in a fearful situation. Number 3 is to ask for help where needed. Man, we are so much oftentimes wrapped in this idea that we need to do everything ourselves. Now, there's nothing wrong with being independent and self-sufficient. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the problem is many of us do it to our detriment. We just hold on, either because we feel we have to do it on our own, or we're embarrassed to ask for help. But what I've come to learn is that asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. So who are those people in your life that you can go to for help? Maybe those that have gone through a challenge before in their lives. Maybe they're the people who are able to hold you capable. They see greatness in you, and they're going to hold you to that standard, and you know you can rely on them to be there for you when needed. So be willing to ask for help. And then finally, and probably most importantly, is take action. Take action. Author Brian Schwartz says that action cures fear. And what he means by that is that when we're in our heads and we're ruminating about what's going on because we're in a fearful situation, we can continue to make things worse for ourselves rather than they really are. I think it was Mark Twain that said, I've dealt with a lot of bad things in my life, some of which actually happened. Because what we do is we make things so bad in our mind, but when we take action, what we do is we drop into our bodies, and just that certainty of being grounded helps us be able to navigate the fear. You know, it's so interesting that oftentimes we think that we need to have everything figured out before we take action. But quite honestly, sometimes all it is about taking the first right move. And then after that, the next right move after that, and then the next right move, and then we begin to build momentum. But don't be stuck in paralysis by analysis, right? If you're in a fearful situation, after you've done your assessment of it and you understand at least one thing you do, take that action. Because when we do that, that's where our power lies. So there you have it, my friend. There are 4 of my strategies for dealing with fear, whether it's fear in the present moment or fear of what might happen in the future. When we're able to do this, I just know in my heart of hearts that we're able to actually take that energy of fear and transmute it into something that you can use to your advantage, and you can actually find the power that's inside of you. So I'll tell you what, if you're interested in more of some of the work I do, maybe you've got a breakthrough that you want to do through fear, check out my upcoming Breaking Through coaching program that's going to be starting on November 10th. I'm going to bring a group of 8 people together, and for 6 weeks, we're going to focus on breaking through those limiting beliefs and those barriers so we can have a breakthrough, ending up 2021 and setting us up for success in 2022. So there you have it, my friends. This has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.